Hey modelers, race fans, welcome to the bench. Glad you stopped by. Darren here from the old Model Geeks podcast and the Grumpy Old Scale Modeler. I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, you're going to find any type of modeling related content, from aircraft to armor to automobiles and motors, you name it. I like to build it, and I try and showcase just a little bit of it here from time to time. So thanks for stopping by. If that's the content that you're interested in, please consider subscribing. Like to have you stop by again here in the future. And if you do that and you ring the bell, then you will know whenever I upload any new content. So tonight I just wanted to pop in here for about 15 minutes and give you an update on where I am with the SalvinosJR next gen rollout Camaro. I had actually started doing a Facebook Live on Friday nights, kind of showcasing some of the build and doing some question and answers, but due to some work related things and some family illness, I had to put that on hold for a little bit, but I hope to bring that back here in the very near future. What we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take you down to my bench top here and kind of show you where I am in the build process now. And then look, if you got any questions about where I'm at, you got any questions about the kit, because it is relatively new, then please let me know in the comments below. You'll also find my contact information down there, email, etc., and links to some of the stuff I used in the build. So check that out in the description below. So without further ado, let's go on down to the bench and see where we're at. Okay, race fans, as I said, here I am with a quick update as to where I am with the SalvinosJR 2022 NASCAR Next Gen Camaro rollout car. As you probably already know from the lives, I am not going to be doing a rollout livery. I'm taking a little artistic license and doing something a little bit different, and that will be shown at a later date. So in kind of a surprise, work on a few different things. We'll see how it works out. But where are we right now? So here's the chassis, motor. As you can see, I've got the front is all done in the carbon fiber. Now, yeah, there are some ejector pin marks on here. These, my friends, you will not see once the body is on this car. I did fill them. Well, first of all, there's a lot that goes on inside underneath the hood here that's going to be covered up. The only time you would ever see them is with the body off. Look, I filled them. They still showed through the decal paper. Being the first one I've done, I'm not going to worry too much about it. The next ones I do will be completely filled in sanded flush. But this is, first go at it. So it is what it is. There are ejector pin marks throughout this. You're going to have to fill depending on what level of detail you want to get from the car. Look, ejector pin marks are just a necessary evil. They're on all kits. So get your filler out, get your scraper, and just make a day of it. You'll be fine. I am planning on using some small magnets to make this body removable. Let me pull all these blades I've got that are stuck to my magnets right now. I've got a bunch of stuff stuck to it, but I've got, including a file, I've got various different sizes of magnets, and the smaller ones, I think they're 1 millimeter, are going to fit in there with no problem. I'll mount the others underneath the bottom where the tabs are here, and just epoxy those in. Not sure how I'll tackle the back yet, but we'll make it work. Let's see. So I'm got most of the body, or the roll cage, is just mocked up right now. It's not glued. As you can see, I can take the back piece off. I'm doing this for a reason. On the back area back here, one thing I did do is I did fill in the fuel cell. This is open on the kit. I cut a piece of styrene and fill that in. Easy. A pair of scissors and some thin styrene. It goes right in. But one of the things I'm doing on this is, I don't know if you can see it, but right in here, let me get my little brush here to point with. But in this area right here, I've drilled these out, and I have at my disposal some small resin nuts and bolt heads, and you see I've cut one off down here. I've drilled the appropriate size hole, painted these silver. They'll actually be an anodized gold, and those are going to go in so you can actually see the bolt heads on the connecting parts. So I've done that on both sides. That's going to be kind of cool. I'm also planning on doing that where all the connection points are for the control arms, so on and so forth. So I've got that mocked up, and again on this, the back of the roll cage, I've got that wrapped in foil. Needs a little bit of work. I don't know that I'm real happy with it. I'll probably do a little bit more to it, but it is foiled at this point, what I call half-assed. If you notice, let me get this pop back down in here, but where the connections are at the top of the roll cage, once I get these in, I'm going to have to fill those and sand them so that they're flush. Now, you're not going to see that with the roof of the car, with the body on, but if I take the body off, I don't want this to be open. I want it to be filled. So that's just a detail that I'm being a little bit anal about, and I'm going to fix. To have a couple of mold lines to take care of, but no big deal. I'm going to talk a little bit about the oil tank in a second, but let me go back to the motor. A couple things that I've done up here on the front. I've taken the rack and pinion. All this is just sticking on here. I took all of the molded detail out and went ahead and plumbed my own plumbing on it with some lead wire. Is it accurate? Probably not, but it does look more the part than the molded on plastic did, and I think it's gonna work out well once the radiator and all the other jazz is installed. So I think that's looking pretty cool. The motor, this is one of my favorite parts. I've taken it and added my own details. The ignition wires I took and where they connect to the coil pack, I scratch built those with a little bit of evergreen rod. I think it was 1 millimeter, and then constructed my wires. And yes, okay, so they look thicker, but you need to look at reference pictures like this one. You'll see that the actual ignition wires are bigger than regular, spark plug wires that come from a distributor. They carry a lot more charge, so they are a little bit thicker, and that's not a problem. But I went ahead and constructed those with some lead wire that I got from, I think it was Bass Pro Shops online. It comes in a little tin, or a little carrier like this, not a tin. And the stuff I used here was the .015, and I also used this black tubing. Now this stuff is called hairline minge tubing. This is the black. I got it on Amazon. I will go ahead and link that as well. You can see, we'll try and get it in there, but it is hollow, and the lead wire goes up into that somewhat easily. I've had some people tell me that they've had problem getting the wire to slide in there, but what I use is just a little bit of water, and I've had no problem. Maybe a little soapy water, and the lead wire's gone in. This is the olive minge, hairline minge tubing. I will link this stuff. I got it on Amazon. It's very cheap, but I wanted you to see what the packaging looks like because I lost the package to the black. But I will put that in the description below for you to see as well. So in any case, those worked out well, I think. I did not put spark plugs in here because honestly you're not going to see them. I just drilled holes and ran them in there. I've run the oil lines. In this case, the oil lines are going to run back through the chassis, through the transmission tunnel, which you won't see. They will come out the rear. And there's been some question on some of the Facebook groups about this part. This is the oil tank, and now this needs a little bit more work. It's not round yet, but here's a picture of the oil tank in the car. I found this online, and you can see it actually goes down inside here. So I will plumb that so that the oil lines come up in there. So we will have oil lines coming from the pump, as you can see here, come out the transmission tunnel in the back to the tank, and then back up through the pump to the filter, into the cooler, which is internal to the radiator, and then back into the pump again. So we're going to make it a closed loop system. I did put my cooling line in. Here's another reference picture found on the internet. I don't know that the neck going in here was accurate. It may be, but I went ahead and took a leap and followed what I saw online. The fuel rail has been plumbed. I still got to do this side, and then I've got to mount a fuel pump of some sort and get that run all the way back to the fuel lines in the cockpit, and then back to the tank and back again. So how accurate is it going to be? I don't know, but it's going to look busy. It's going to look interesting, and that's really what I'm going for at this point. I did take the coil packs, and it was a little bit more solid at the attachment points to the fuel rail. I've cut those out and opened them up. And then another thing that I have done is underneath the carburetor I've installed a magnet, and I want to make sure that once this is all assembled and the air cleaner's on, that we can take it off. So I've got some metal posts that are going to go on here, and that will magnetically hold it in place, and then of course we can take it off if need be. So I'm kind of excited about the motor. Yes, it could be better, but I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out so far. And number 2 is going to be even better. The rest of the chassis, well, you can see I got the tinfoil in the motor compartment. I'm starting to tinfoil the rocker panel, or rocker boxes for the exhaust here. And then I can move on to the interior and some of the motor electrical wiring. I know that I was planned on doing the lives every Friday, and that has kind of turned into something else because of work and some illness in the family, but I hope to reinstate those lives here in the very near future, so we can go through the Q&As. Look, if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. You can follow the build on my Instagram. I will link that right here. You can see it. Go ahead and check that out. And as always, thanks for watching. Hey, let's all be good to each other, and for crying out loud, get out there and build something. Peace. Good night.